We're back once again working on the old Forte. There's a good chance that we can get this thing back on the road this week, but we got to get busy. My handy dandy assistant is here. He's gonna change our breaker out because it was tripping the breaker when I was trying to operate this lift the other day. But before we do that, we gotta back this out. We got to roll our lift over here and then push this back on it because, I gotta do fuel lines. I ain't laying on the ground no more. No, sir, I don't have to, so I ain't gonna. Oh man, the steering, you push.
What about brakes?
What?
What about brakes?
What about them? These are scrubbing so bad that it don't matter. Heave! Ho! I can't do it right now. Oh yeah, get up on there. It ain't all that heavy, but between this tire rubbing the fender, and I think the back brakes are trying to hang up, I thought they were going to give us trouble. Well, we just can't hardly push it, so I'm going to go get the tractor. Hopefully I don't tear nothing up. We'll push it up on here. Well, we got the old thing on the lift finally. We're gonna do some back brake work, yes sir, because that ain't gonna work. It acts like when you just spinning the wheel when you got it jacked up, acts like the drums are really warped. If that's the case, well, we may have to go ahead and put another rear end in it. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Right now though, what I want to do, I want to get the fuel system done. We're gonna start with putting the gas tank back in. I got to cut me some wood a little bit longer than the tank. That way we ain't squishing it in the middle. Once we get it set in place, I got to mark a hole for the outlet, drill it, then strap it down, and we'll go to running our line up here to the fuel pump. All right, let me get the tank in here. That there's acting like it's a wee bit too long. It's hitting right here. Let me cut me a little angle on the end of that. Listen to. Cut me a 45 on the ends of them. I believe it is more better. Yes, sir. So, let me get the tank in here. We got to mark where our hole is going to be. As you can see, I painted this tank a few days ago. It's so pretty now. Let me get it centered. That's approximately 3.5. That's approximately 3 3/4. I think we'll be all right there. Make sure the straps still fit up. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. Now, somehow or another, I got to figure out how I'm gonna mark this outlet. Where is it at? It's right here. All right, I think that'll work. Let me get my drill. Let me see if the 1/4-inch pipe will fit through there. I think that'll work. Yes, sir. Let me get this strapped down. Then we'll raise it up and start running our fuel lines. Putting this nipple in here so we can go ahead and mount this tank. I tell you what, Mama called a while ago, said she'd fix supper. And wanted to know if I wanted some. Y'all know me, I love food. I ain't turning down Mama's cooking either. So I had to go over and eat. I ate way too much. I'm about to bust. I ain't worth killing now. But we got to get this done. So I'm gonna try to at least get this tank mounted and get fuel line run to the fuel pump before we call it a night. I got a late start because that secretary, she took off again today. I'm gonna end up firing her, I guess. Anyway, let me get this tank mounted and we'll get this car in the air and go to running the fuel line. I gotta get me a light so y'all can see what I'm doing. But I just now realized that here's the pipe coming out of the fuel tank. Well, it's right above my muffler. I ain't crazy about that, but it'll probably be okay. We're gonna 90 over, go to the frame, go all the way down the frame. We'll clamp it every 2 or 3 feet. Then the fuel pump is right here. I'll probably come down the frame, go past it, try to do a 180, and then just put a short piece of hose in between them two. And of course, here's the outlet of the fuel pump. We'll just go up to the carburetor from there. I'm using 3/8 aluminum fuel line. I've never used aluminum. So this will be a first, but I mean, it should be okay. Let me get this T on, or this elbow on, and we'll go to running the line. I am doing flare fittings, by the way, instead of compression. I just don't trust compression fittings all that much. All right, I think that'll do it right there. Let me get my line out and go to running it. Got my line flared and I'm trying to figure out exactly where to bend it. I'm gonna say, well, if I can get this up in here, probably a little bit less than that. Yeah, I think that'll do, and then we'll jig-jag on over there to the frame. So let me roll her on out and stick it behind this muffler. I'm gonna leave that loose for now. I reckon we'll just keep on trucking. Run it down this frame, gotta put a little bend right there. Let me get some clamps. I think I got some 3/8 clamps. Let me go see. These really ain't the right size clampages, but we are gonna make them work because that's what I got. I think we'll put one right there. Already got a hold. Oh yeah, that'll work just fine and dandily. Then I'm gonna put one about right in here, and then if I can get one up there, I'm gonna put one up there too. Fuel line is done. I put 3 clampages on it. There's my 3rd one right there. I believe we're going to have to finish it from up top. So let me let it down. We'll do that, and then I might carry it on from the pump up to my little fuel log, fuel distribution block, whatever you want to call it. Here's the plan up here. I'm gonna take this line over this motor mount, come out here past the fuel pump, make us a 180 loop, put a short piece of hose in between there, and that'll be that. I tell y'all what, this aluminum fuel line, I believe that's the way to go. It bends extremely easy. A lot easier than copper, it sure does. Well, I found my bender. It was over at Mama's, I couldn't find it the other day. I'm gonna try to get this to bend on around. Yeah, let's see what that does right there. Hopefully that's good enough. By George, I think that's gonna work right there. Yes, sir, I do. Let me cut me a piece of hose and connect them. I gotta get me another clamp down in here somewhere, and then we'll be done with that part of it. Well, there's my loop right yonder. Got me a short piece of hose on it. I had to jack her back up, put me another clamp right there because she was flopping just a wee bit too much. That'll do that portion of the fuel line. I think now we'll run her from the out up top. I think I'm gonna bend me a line and go ahead and stick it in here because that's kind of hard to get to from the top. Also, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to tell y'all this for probably 2 weeks. Remember how we were leaking? Let me get my light and show you. Remember how this power steering was leaking out the end of the shaft? Not around that seal, but the end of the shaft. Thought that's kind of odd. Well, the company that I emailed that rebuilds rack and pinions, they got back with me and they said, yep, there's a seal inside there that is leaking. It ain't no good. I said, are you sure this is a reman unit from Napa with 0 use? I said, are you positive? They said, unfortunately, yes. And they also said we can rebuild it for the small fee of $400. I was like, okay, thanks. What I have done, I finally found a couple of these on a website. I think it's called buyautoparts.com. They had, this one is from 87. My light just went out. Anyway, this one is from 87 to 92. And then the other one is from, I believe, 82 to 86. Well, I got the one from 82 to 86 because it's $100 something cheaper. The only difference that I can tell is the input shaft is splined on it. And then the lines, they run, these ones here go right here and here. Well, on it, they run to the end. That's the only difference I can find. I think they're pretty much the same. The lock-to-lock turning may be a little bit different, but I ain't too worried about that. Anyway, I went ahead and bought it, possibly to replace this one with it. And Rock Auto had a seal kit for this one. Went ahead and bought it. It was $16.99, yes sir. So that one's got to come out regardless. So we may delve into it, see if we can't put seals in it. If it's easy, that's what we'll do. If not, I'll put that other one on here. Hopefully, I'll just have to find a different coupling from it to my steering shaft up there. I can't do that till I get it because I got to know what size and what spline count it is. So as soon as that gets here, we'll probably go to working on that. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Like I said, I've been running around town half a day. And I got to do some stuff for my handy dandy assistant. I got to cut the centers out of these wheels for him. I don't know who did that. They ran that sucker for a while like that. Sure did. Anyway, I'm going to cut the center out and he's going to weld the plate back in on both of them. And then I got another little piece I got to cut out for him. Let me do that. I'm going to call it a night. Tomorrow, we'll finish up the fuel lines. And I don't know, we'll find something else to do. Well, I told you I was going in the house, but you all know better than that. Well, I got done with my handy dandy assistance stuff over there. Now, I got my wheel tire simulator thingamabob right here, trying to figure out what size wheel and tire I can go with, because I got to figure this out. I've got it set to a 255 tread width, 18-inch diameter wheel. Now I got to go in the house and look at the formula for offset and then the ratio right here, which this can change. That's not going to mess anything up. It's the tire width and the wheel offset is the main thing. And y'all, if you remember, this wheel and tire sits in probably an inch and a half further than that one over yonder. Plus, this fender brace is an inch longer than over yonder. I tried making that one the same size as this one and pull this out. When I do that, it buckles right here, and I don't really want that, but we may have to. Let me take this off and put it on the other side and just see what we look like. Well, I've been at this for about an hour, and this is what I have deduced. You know, that tire and wheel over there sticks in further than this side by probably an inch or so. Well, I have measured this to here, and the rear end in relation to the frame, it's within a 1/16. So that's not the issue. Started measuring inside here in the fenders, and this one, ooh, I'll show you that in a minute. This one here, it's a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch further in from here to here. Well, this is what I did. I took all the bolts loose. I pulled the fender out and then tightened them back up. That gave me about 1/4 of an inch. Then I went to beating on it with my hammer right here, just whooping the devil out of it. And finally got it out. It's there within 1/4 of an inch either side. The same size tire and all that will fit now. Close. I got to do a little more work on it, but it ain't rubbing anywhere anymore. Let me put this back where it was. Oh, come on now. About right there. Where I got this is going to be about the same as the other side, so I got to make another brace. But it does not hit anymore. So whatever this is, I think it's going to work. Like I said, I got to make another brace. But when I pull this out, like I said, this sort of bows in. So we got to get this where it goes, and then I got to whoop on this a little bit more. I might have to get an actual hammer out, but I think we'll get it. Like I said, this tire and wheel size, that's what I'm gonna go with. Now, remember I told you earlier that I thought we had some brake issues. We do. Well, you can see it's turning kind of hard, and every once in a while it'll just stop, and I cannot turn it. We'll watch this. When I loosen these lug nuts, see it just fall on its own? Let me take this drum off and I'll show you what's going on, I think. Here's the drum. Y'all can't see it, but she's wore. I got a lip on the inside, I got a lip on the outside. When I shove it all the way in and tighten it up, well, this shoe, I think, is hitting this inside lip. So what I'm gonna have to do, you can probably get them drums, but they're probably too much. I'm gonna look them up tonight. If they ain't too bad, then I may get 2 new ones, or I may just take them to O'Reilly's tomorrow, see if they'll turn them for me and get them true, put them back on. That should take care of it. It is late. I am tired. And, well, we know what we got to do now. So tomorrow, after we get the fuel system done, we'll come back here and work on this, make us a brace. We'll whoop on that a little bit more and get it to come out a little bit more. And, well, I may order some tires and wheels tonight. Anyway, see y'all later. 'Tis the next day, and as you can see, I'm pulling my hair out over what size wheel and tire to put on the front now. I think after many, many hours of fooling with this little apparatus and doing some math formulas and whatnot, I think I've got it figured out what we can run. I ain't going to tell you what the wheel is. It is an 18-inch diameter. That's all I'm going to tell you. Here's my little piece of paper of all the different combinations that I might could use. I think I have finally settled on the tire size. The wheel, unless I go with the customs, I got to use what they have. And I can't afford $500 a wheel, so we ain't going with the customs. Anyway, let me put this tire back on. And I need to go in the house and go ahead and order these wheels, possibly tires too. Then when we get back out here, we'll lower this down, finish the fuel lines up top. And I don't know, we may fix these water leaks up here. We may do something else. There's plenty to do, so let's get busy. Wait a minute. I forgot to show y'all this. I don't know if y'all remember, I told you in order to set caster and camber on these, I had read that you had to bend. It's an apparatus that they have that you bend stuff to get it lined up. Well, that's true on a 39. It's hard to find information on a 40. That's how it's said to do it in the 39 shop manual. Well, I got to read a little further. I know this type of suspension is the same basically all the way up to a 54, I believe. So I looked up how do you set the caster and camber on a 52. This is how you do it. Pretty simple for the camber anyway. That's leaning in and out. You take this here grease fitting out, stick a 1/4-inch Allen wrench in there, and this bolt thing on bob here is the eccentric. You turn that, it turns this and moves this in and out. I got it set to the max out. It's still leaned in. Best I can do. It'll wear tires out a little faster, but that's the best I can do right now. Anyway, let me get the wheel on, drop her, and we'll get them fuel lines done. I'm working on the line from the fuel pump up to this little distribution block. I already got it bent down yonder. I might show y'all in a minute. Had to do a 180 and then a twist and a 90 and, well, I had to finagle it around that radiator hose. Now I'm trying to get this one where I want it. I say we cut that off approximately right there. I want to get this in the middle here. So we'll cut her off right there. And let me mark that and then I'll go cut it off and flare it. And then I'll be right back. So there it is right there. I had to flare this in twicely because I forgot to put the nut on before I flared it. Had to cut it off, do it again. Let's see if it'll fit. Looks like it came from the factory. Oh yeah. Let me tighten these up and then we'll run individual ones from the carburetor devices to this right here. I have been using my new flaring tool. So let me show y'all how you do it. There's your die, put that right there. Put your tube right there. I got my nut on there, so don't worry. Put your tube in there. Put the other die on top of it. Then you close your clamp, push your pin in. Then you come over here to the blank operation 0. That just lines the end of your tube up with your die. Tighten this here handle up. Like that right there. Then you move to operation 1. This is 5/16 line. You go chompa. That makes it a bubble flare. And then you find operation 2 for 5/16, which is, I can't hardly see right there. You go chompa again. There's your flare fitting. It'd be great as long as you got it, got a vise you can use. Now, if I was out in the woods working on something, I probably wouldn't take this. Anyway, that's pretty handy, and I don't remember your name, but I appreciate you sending me that. Here is the first line going to the middle carburetor device. It wasn't too bad, but the others, they got some extra bends on them, so they're going to be a pain. So when I get them done, I'll be back. Fuel lines are done. They don't look too bad. I'm going to downgrade this aluminum tubing though. Well, especially this 5/16s. It bends kinks way too easy. Tried using my bender and it just flattened it. So I ended up having to bend it by hand. That ain't too bad for hand bent lines, I don't think. Anyway, the only thing left on the fuel system is the fill neck, and they got me a fuel gauge. Let me get over here and I'll show you. Remember how I needed a grommet for the fill neck? The one I had was too small. Well, here's the bigger one, but it also takes a bigger hole. It takes a 3-inch hole. The one we cut out was 2 3/8. So I just got back from Lowe's, got me a 3-inch hole saw. Also, here's my fuel gauge. It doesn't come with a bracket. Nope, sure don't. So we're gonna have to make one. I don't understand that. That's weird. Anyway, you might be wondering, well, how in the world are you going to use a hole saw on a hole that you've already hole sawed? Well, just like that right there. You put your original hole saw inside this one. It screws in with an arbor. You just screw them both together. Watch this right here. That inside one will keep her lined up. You just go to cutting it out. I learned that off of YouTube Shorts here, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I thought, that is awesome. And I can foresee me needing that sometime. Well, guess what? We need it now. Let me get my drill. We'll drill that hole out. And this grommet has a flat spot. I didn't know that, so I'll have to cut that out. I think this fits early 60s C10, I think. Anyway, let's cut that hole out. All right, let's see if this actually is going to work. Wow. Look at all the filler. Goodness gracious. Finally, well, sort of. Still got a little bit hanging on. Let me clean this up, and then we'll get that fill neck done. Y'all know what I'm forgetting? I got a lift. I can raise this up instead of getting on my knees. Let me do that real quick. All right, now I ain't got to get on my knees, so that is wonderful. It wallered that hole out a little bit too big, but hopefully it's going to work. This shall go. Wait a minute. I gotta put this hose on first. Let me go get my clampalampas too. All right, got my hose on in there. See if we can get this here to go in here. Approximately right there. That ain't bad. Let's turn it back on. Wouldn't hurt if it come out a little bit, about right there. Yep, I think that'll work just fine. Let me tighten these hose clamps in here real quick. Tis not bad. It's sticking out just enough. You can grab a hook over, put her back on. There's my hose. Don't look too bad. That, like I said, that grommet's a little loose, but ain't a whole lot I can do about it now. We might put a little caulk in here eventually, just, you know, keep rainwater out, but for now, that'll do. Let's do a fuel gauge bracket, get that mounted and wired up. The fuel system will be done. Well, I was going to make a little bracket for my fuel gauge. Look at here, I forgot about this. This came from the gauges that we put in dude or the run stand, either one. I just cut one little section off of it. I ain't gotta make one now. This right here is why you don't throw stuff away. Let's get that mounted on the dash, get it wired up, and we'll be done with that. Oh yeah, let's get this one I've got in here. Oh, my knee. Son of a gun, that hurts. Whew. I think we'll put her approximately right here. I think I'm just gonna put one in it, right in the middle. All right, let me get it wired up. I'll be back, we'll try it out, make sure the lights work and all that good stuff. Fuel gauge install is complete. I got my fuel sending unit wired up back here. Yes, I used pink for the ground also, because that's what I had. Now, you turn the lights on, and they work like it should, but you turn the key on, and I tried to short that wire back there to ground, and this should go over to full. Well, they don't. If you remember, I got a gauge wire. It's labeled gauge wire running the voltmeter and now the gas gauge. And as you can see, it doesn't have voltage on it until the vehicle's running. I find that to be very, very odd. Gauge power, it should come on when you turn the key on. As you can see, it's on. I ain't got nothing there. And ain't got nothing there when I sort the wire out. So what I might do, I got a lot of extra circuits. We might pull one of them out and make it power these gauges, because like I said, I don't know what's going on with that wire. I don't guess I showed y'all my wiring, did I? Well, let me get under here. It ain't beautiful, but it's better than it was. Oh yeah. All my extra circuits are right up there on top of the pedal assembly. But it's neater than it was. Under here, this is where it goes out to firewall. This wire here is the parking light. We got to put it back on the headlight switch. Remember, I had to unhook it. Let me just show you out here under the hood too. Got me some pretty wire loom. Oh yeah, look at there. That is beautiful. And I run it from here all the way over to the, what's that called? Ballast resistor? Yep, that's what it is. And of course, cleaned up all this. This is horn wire. That horn probably don't work, so I just tied it up for now. We'll have to get us a horn eventually. I don't even got a horn button. I think, let's do, well, I'll tell you what, I forgot to tell you all about this too. Remember how this turn signal assembly, the light stays on no matter what. Well, I did a little bit of troubleshooting. If you remember, we got two flashers, one for emergency flashers and one for blinkers. Well, I did a little troubleshooting, and one of them is switched 12 volts, which that's how it should be. The other one has 7 volts on it all the time, no matter what. There's something fishy going on with this thing here. I'm gonna do a little more troubleshooting, but I'm gonna say that thing there's something wrong with it. I read the reviews on this, I got it on Amazon, and it's just hit and miss as to whether you get a good one or not. I'm gonna say we got a bad one. So I'll probably have to get a different one sometime. I ain't gonna worry about it right now. I think what we're gonna do right now, though, since we're in the wiring mode, remember how we could only have turn signals up here? Because, well, I'm a dummy. You gotta have a dual element bulb. Well, I found a socket. I think it'll fit. Here it is right here. So, let's just see if it'll fit. If it will, we'll get this wired up and we'll have blinkers and parking lights up here. First thing we need to do is make sure we can get this socket in here. I think we can. Let me get a screwdriver. All right, there we go. It's got a ground lug on that socket, so I think we may remove this wire and put it on there. I believe that will be the best connection that we can get. All right, now that we got that in there, I've already determined this one here is the blinker. It's the brighter one. So let me cut these wires here. And I don't remember. Yeah, the green is the turn signal. Yep. All right, let me cut these wires. Chompa. Let's go ahead and hook up the signal wire. Chompa. Then we'll hook up parking light. Chompa. Chompa. All right, now let me get that ground wire off of there. Chompa. Chompa. All right, let's hook this up and we'll have one side done. Let's test it real quick. See what we got. We'll put it right there somewhere. Let it hang. All right, here are parking lights. Are they on? Here are turn signals. Are they on? Oh yeah, look over there. That is beautiful. Sure enough is. Ta-da! This is headlights on. Yep, they're supposed to go off. I could probably put a jumper on it, but I ain't gonna worry about it right now. Then with the headlights on, do the blinkers work? Oh yeah, look over there. Got the other side done. I'm just making sure they're both on, and they are. Let's turn our left blinker on, see what happens. And we would have a blinker. Let's turn the right one on, see what happens. And we have a right blinker. Let us turn the emergency flashers on and see what we got. Oh yeah, look over there. We got us a flasher here and a flasher there and a flasher everywhere. All right, let me turn all that off. Well, when you turn the headlights on a square body anyway, it's a square body headlight switch. When you turn the headlights on, up to a certain year, these front parking lights go out. And then later on, they made it where they stay on, or I may have that backwards. Anyway, you can jumper wire on that headlight switch, and I think I'm gonna do it, but I'll have to study the wiring diagram tonight and see what I gotta do, because I would like these to be on, when I'm running down the road. Anyway, I'm glad to get that done. Headlight stuff, well, where is it at? I got headlight adjuster, yeah, right here. I'm a dummy. Y'all know that by now. But I thought I needed everything, the adjuster screw and the adjuster holder. Well, no, sir. There it is right there and right there. I don't know why I didn't see that. You know how my brain is. Anyway, I got the adjuster screws, but I can't find the spring. I don't even know if it takes one or two. Like I told y'all, it's hard to find information on this old 40. So I think maybe tomorrow we'll fill the headlights and get the ring and adjuster, and then we'll determine what kind of spring we need, and we'll just make us a spring. Anyway, I think we're going to call it a day. Got a little bit done. Got some bad news, though, fellers. Last 3 or 4 days, my knee is just progressively getting worse and worse, and today I've been walking stiff-legged. It hurts so bad. Don't know why. It's kind of Ironic, I get a lift, you know, to help my knees. My knee goes getting bad again. That medicine that I'm on, I can take it twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, so I think it's what I'm going to start doing. Hopefully, it'll get better again, and we can get this, because I was really planning on getting this car done this week. But let me tell you, having a bum knee, walking around stiff-legged, it slows you way, way down. I'm still going to try my best to get this done this week. I want this car back on the road and done with this portion of it so we can move on to something else. Ordered wheels earlier, ordered front tires earlier. Having trouble finding the back tires I want that I can get in a timely manner. I'm going to go in and see what I can find. Hopefully we get some in the next 2 or 3 days. The wheels, tires, front tires, should be here, I'm going to say in about 3 days, so be looking for that. Tomorrow, we shall proceed to continue. We got plenty more to do. Today's the next day again, and as you can see, we got some headlights. Yep, I spent the last hour or so putting them in. Remember I told you yesterday I got my adjuster screws, but I didn't have any springs. Well, I had to make my springs. Finally got them in. I'm just glad to see the old girl's got some eyeballs now. We'll have to adjust them later on once we get it down, you know, level ground and all. But yep, glad to see she can see what she's doing now. Also, oh, let me show you this. That is our new rack and pinion. We might fool with that later on today. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Also, remember how my blinker thingamabob in here, the indicator light was on all the time? Well, you see it's not now, and the battery is hooked up. Well, let me explain it to you real quick. That blinky blink mechanism came with this 3-prong flasher. Well, I'm used to a 2-prong flasher, so, you know, I got to scratching my head about this last night. I said, I don't know how that operates. So I studied up on it, and once I figured out how this works, well, I know what was going on there. On a 3-prong, you got X, L, and P. X is 12 volts coming in. L goes out to your blinky blink mechanism and then eventually to your lights. This top one, P, that's for indicator light. When I read that, I thought, yep, I know what's going on now. If you remember the print for this thing, it showed a hot coming in and then 2 wires coming out of that flasher. And of course it wasn't labeled, so I thought, well, one of them's got to be for blinker, one of them's got to be for emergency. No, sir. This one uses the same flasher for both. And it can be either switched power or constant, you know, depending on what you want. The blue wire, which goes to P, is indicator. And the reason this light was on all the time is because that blue wire was hooked to the emergency flasher on this wiring harness, which has constant power to it all the time. I cut the blue wire. That light's not on anymore. Now, we don't have an indicator at all now, unless we hook that flasher up, and I don't really want to right now. We might later, but I ain't worried about that. I'm just glad I figured that out, and that light is gone now. Also, went to Ireland this morning, well, this afternoon actually, and was going to get these turned, and well, they're pretty much toast. Really didn't even know what they were. I got home and cleaned them up and found this number. You look that up on Google, it pulls up a 53 through 60 Corvette. Oh yeah, the old girl's got a Corvette rear end in it. We're gonna have to make her a race car now because of that. Anyway, it's the same as a 57 Bel Air. It's the same rear end. So they don't want to turn them because, you know, they'll possibly be liable if something happens. So I think what I'm going to do, brand new, $75 a piece. I'm not spending it because I told y'all this rear end is not going to stay in that car for very long. So I could get them on Rock Auto for like $33 a piece, but take them a week to get here. I don't have that kind of time. So what I'm probably going to do, stick them on the lathe maybe tonight, and we'll just try to cut these lips off, and that's it. Actually, what I'm going to do first, to make sure that's the issue, we're going to jack it back into this thing up. Might do it right now. Take the wheels off. We're going to run them brakes all the way in as far as they'll go. And if it still grabs like that, then I may be wrong on what's going on. Let's do that. right now while it's on my mind. Yep. Let me jack it up and we'll take the wheels off and check that. Back to brakes way off. Put my drum on and got my lug nuts on just to make sure this is good and tight on there. Y'all watch this. Oh yeah, she just spins now. So I reckon that's what was going on. So maybe tonight we'll go over and put this in the lathe, both of them, and turn it down. I'm not gonna try to take any meat off, just those two edges. That should be good enough for now. Like I said, we're gonna have some better brakes on it eventually. I reckon what we'll do next, we'll build us a battery tray. I got me some angle iron right here. Piece of old stainless, put on the bottom. All I'm gonna do is just, go around this battery. I'll make it a little bit bigger than this. And then once I get this built, I'll probably, have I got any all thread? If I do, yeah, I think, there's some, 3/8, 7/16 right there. We'll weld a piece of all thread here and here. Then we'll make us a clamp for the top of it, and that should do it. Let me get to cutting and welding. I'm going 7.5 by 11.5. It's a little bigger than that battery. You never know, I might want to go with a bigger one. So that's where we're going to build it. Battery tray is done. You might be wondering, ain't this kind of dangerous? Have this metal next to these postices. If this battery slides, it's going to hit them and short it out, and well, it's going to be a bomb. You are correct. That could happen, but I'm going to slide her all the way back. Right there. And as you can see, they don't touch. But what I am going to do, I'm going to shove this all the way forwards. Then we're going to tighten this down. This is going to be wrapped with electrical tape, just, to make sure that this does not touch that. Best I can do right now. Have y'all priced these things? Yeah, they're a little ridiculous, and I wasn't going to pay that kind of money for just a tray. Nope. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going to put it in the car, so let me figure that out. I think I'm going to go get me a little snack because my belly's growling. I'm a growing boy. I don't want to waste away to nothing. Let me go get a sandwich, and then we'll continue to get this battery tray in there. Well, I stepped outside for just a moment to get me a breath of fresh air. And I want y'all to look at my plum tree. Look at all the blooms. I have never, ever seen that many blooms on this tree. If you remember, I put this fence up last year trying to keep some of my plums. I thought the deer were eating them. Well, it turns out squirrels and birds like them too. And I got a whopping 2 plums last year trying to grow some because, this in here, look at the bottom. Got holes in it, and then the top half is just completely dead. It ain't gonna last much longer. Anyway, I've never seen that many blooms. Hopefully, we'll have a good crop of plums. I can get a bunch and plant them, and maybe we can get us a plum tree this year. Sure hope so. They sure smell good too. All right, snack time is over. I'm good to go for another few hours. And I think I've decided where I'm gonna put it. Right there, where's she gonna go. So let me drill me a couple holes, bolt it down. Then I got to drill a hole for 2 cables, positive and negative. Let me get the battery in there, get the hole down on it. Then I got to determine where I'm gonna run my cables. Well, I got it tightened down, and it ain't gonna go nowhere. No, sir. I gotta take it back apart though, because I gotta paint it. But anyway, I think we're gonna come from right here, right down through here, go directly to the frame, and I'll put one on the body right here. And then the positive, we'll drill us one right up in here somewhere and head on to the front. So let me get a big old drill bit and get to drilling. Well, I got my holes drilled back there. Here's the cable I'm going to use. It is copper clad aluminum. I can't finish because I could have swore I bought lugs, but if I did, I don't know where they're at. Can I find them? So we're done with that until I get my lugs. So I think it's getting kind of late. Let's raise her up and pull this rack out and just see if we can get it apart and see where that seal is that's leaking. I think first thing I'll do is get these lines loose. Come on out of there, man. Now let's get these bolts out of this arm. Now we gotta get the steering arm shaft loose. What do I need? I need a wrench. Not that size. That size. Ooh. Oh! What in the world? Which Loctite did I use on these? I thought it was the... Is it purple or orange? Orange. I don't remember. It's supposed to be the red removable, sort of, whatever. Goodness gracious alive. Let me see if that other one will come loose. Oh yeah, barely. Whew. That ain't no joke. I feel good about that Loctite, you know, the bolts not backing out and killing me, but goodness gracious. I thought it was supposed to be removable. Ooh. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let me see if I can't get this steering shaft pried loose. Oh, there it went. I got it. Oh, yeah. I tell y'all what, this lift right here, it's awesome. Took me less than 10 minutes to get this out. If I would have been on the ground, it took 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Anyway, here's the input shaft. You can see it's like a shaft inside of a shaft. I don't understand that, don't know what it's for, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was leaking. Oh, you know what it might have been? Yep, I think I know. It's my fault. Remember I drilled a hole in these for the set screw? That's where it's leaking. Sure is. Let me see if I can get it to focus. See that hole right there? Yep, that's where she's leaking. So, now that I know that, this is my fault, not Napa's. I don't really know what to do about that. Take this apart, pull this out, weld this back up, and, well, it's a little thicker over here. I can drill my set screw holes over here and just don't go quite as deep. It's the only thing I know to do. I got to decide what I'm going to do here. It's late. I tell you what, I'm gonna pull this, see if I can pull that shaft out. Then I'm gonna call it a day. Tomorrow, we'll figure out what we're gonna do about this. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, I got it tore apart last night, as you can see. Here's the input shaft and the pinion gear, and here's the valve. That's basically the brain of it. That's what makes it operate when you turn the wheel. Sends fluid down one or the other of them lines right there and helps you turn the steering wheel. I had to study on this because I'd forgotten how these operated. Now that I know how they operate, I understand why it's leaking. I understand why you got what looks like a second shaft in the middle. This is how it operates. Very quickly explained. Input shaft, that's what your steering shaft hooks to, and your steering wheel. The pinion gear ultimately is hooked to your front tires. Those are connected with what is called a torsion bar. That's what that center shaft is right there. The reason you need that, when you turn your steering wheel, this is going to twist on that torsion bar, and it opens some holes and closes other holes in this valve, you know, sending the fluid whichever way it needs to go. This is hollow on the inside because of that torsion bar, and fluid flows in the middle of it, and it comes up here, and well, it comes out a hole if you drill a hole up here. I was going to weld that hole up, but then I got to thinking, you know, if fluid's coming out here, then there's got to be a seal up here. If I weld it, I'm gonna burn that seal up. That's probably where the seal is that them fellers was telling me about. Yes, sir, probably right there. So I tore it apart thinking, if I can get this shaft off there, I'll weld it up. Well, I got to looking. The only way I can see is there's a pin there, and I got to pecking on it, trying to knock it out, and it didn't want to move at all. And I was afraid to get too rough with it because I didn't want to tear it up. So I said, phooey on that. Let me get my JB weld out. We'll fill that hole up with JB weld. And there it is. I did the other side too, just in case it might have a pinhole. JB weld's pretty tough stuff, so I'm hoping that's going to fix it. I'll have to clean that up, you know, so my coupling will fit. And if it's possible, I'm going to drill on this side and this side, maybe not. I don't know what I'm going to do about that just yet, but, well, I'll figure something out. But here's the deal. Remember me telling you about my knee the other day? Well, she's pretty bad today. Can't hardly walk. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand it. How you can go from it quitting hurting completely to all of a sudden you can't walk anymore. What I'm trying to tell you is it slowed me way down. I'm not even sure I'm going to get anything done today. I'm going to try to get this put back together, possibly get it back in the car. We might pour some fluid in the reservoir and see if it runs out. And maybe, depending on how my knee is, might get the drums and head to Mom's and put them in the lathe and see what we can do with them. Other than that, I probably ain't going to do a whole lot. And may end up taking tomorrow off too. I don't know. It's really slowing me down. Anyway, let me get some of this stuff done, and I'll see y'all probably tomorrow. Got it back together. Let me show you what I did. Remember, I have my set screw holes right here on the flats because that's where the holes are. You know, this is double D. Well, you know, JB weld is tough, but it ain't that tough. And I didn't want to drill back into it because it'd probably just rip it out. So I moved my holes 90 degrees on this U-joint and put them over here. You can see my little nipple. It's nowhere near as big or as deep as the other ones. So hopefully they won't leak. Anyway, it goes on just like that right there. I had destroyed about half of my set screws getting them out, so I got to get new ones of them. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this back on, and then when I get done with that, I might do something else. I may go in the house. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Got it back together. Got it filled up with fluids. I don't see nothing dripping out, but, you know, last time we had us a bleed hole there for the air to bleed out of. So, really we won't know until we fire it up and get it circulating and building pressure to make sure it's all full. But right now I'm happy with that. I think now I'm going to take both of these drums over there and let's scratch around on the inside of them a little bit. I had to swap my 4-jaw chuck in. I got her zeroed in pretty good. It's within 2 or 3 thousandths. That is good enough for what we do around here. So let's see if we can get this trued up just a little bit. Let me make one more pass. See what she looks like. Well, I had seen better. It was chattered pretty bad. There ain't a whole lot I can do about it though. It'll be alright for our purposes anyway. Let me get that other one on here and get it done. Y'all watch this right here. No matter what I do, I cannot get that to run true. It's so thin on the face of it. When I tighten up one of these, it goes bowing it out. I've been fooling with it for 30, 45 minutes. Fully on you. If it gives trouble, I'll just buy some new ones. Let's go put them back on the car. Got the drums back on. This is the one I was able to turn. It's rubbing fender there, but the brake ain't hanging up. The other side, the one I couldn't turn, well, that's a different story. Let me show you. It'll turn, then it hangs. It'll turn, and then it hangs. But it ain't as bad as it was, so we're gonna leave it for now. May end up having to put a different rear end in it sooner than I thought. I don't know. Here's another thing too. My tires and the two back wheels came in yesterday. I tried them out. These studs are too short. So we're going to pull the axles anyway if we're going to run them new wheels. Yep. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do here. For now though, I went to town a while ago and got me some lugs, what are you going to call them, for the band-tree cables. So let's run that. And I'll go get some gasoline. We'll fill the tank up, fire it up, check out the power steering, make sure it's going to be good. Well, I decided let's go ahead and paint the frame, make it look a little bit better. So I did a professional job, of course, and by professional I mean I hit it with a wire brush, a hand wire brush, hit it with the air, then I shot it with paint. Oh yeah. It looks real good in the dark. What I'm doing now, running my cable from the band tree up to the starter, and I'm going to run out of these clamps, it looks like. As soon as I get this done, I got to make ends up at the battery, hook that up, put some gasolines in it. Then we fire it up and check out the old power steering, see how it does. For those who are interested in knowing, this is 1/0 cable. Should be more than enough for this distance. Anyway, let me get this done. Oh, excuse me. I did not mean to kick y'all. Cable is ran. I'm back here in the back looking things over. Got everything hooked up. Got my grounds all hooked up. I put me some gromlins in the floor there so we don't short our wires out. Also, I did not take into account my battery cable ends. When I put this on here, it's really, really close. So we ain't gonna be using that. I'll find me something about half that width, and that's what we'll use on that. And I'm still gonna wrap it up with tape too, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, I reckon we are ready to fill her up with some gasolines, give her a old try, and see if that power steering is gonna leak on us or not. I reckon we gotta test my fuel lines out too, make sure they don't leak. Let's see if she'll fire up. Acts like it didn't get no fire. Woo! It's a little chilly tonight. I reckon I'm gonna probably have to hook that choke up. steering is whining, so let me check it, make sure we got some fluids. Yep, we need some. That'll probably do for now. Down there on the fuel pump leaking either. Let's go over and see if our power steering's leaking. I don't see anything. We'll raise it up here in just a minute and look at it from down below, but let's turn the steering wheel. Have we got power steering at least? Oh, look at here. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Sure is. All right, let me raise it up. She ain't leaking, there a drop. That's awesome. I do see water dripping up there though. We gotta get that water leak fixed up there. I don't see no leaks. Oh crap, that's fixing to spin out. Yeah, we're dripping oil. Let me get up there and turn this thing off. Yeah, sir, she was just about to come out of there. That'd have made me mad if it had fell out and hit me in the head. I was trying to get back here and look at this outlet coming out of the fuel tank. See if we got leaks. I don't feel anything, no sir. That is kind of close to that muffler. We may build us a shield, cause you know, if I'm sitting in traffic somewhere, that heat getting up here, it may boil the gas. Yeah, we might make us a little heat shield there. We ain't got no leaks on the power steering, so that's awesome. I think all this stuff right here gonna work just fine and dandy. Oh yeah. I reckon it's time, let's get over here and see if we can't mark something off this board. We're narrowing it down. What did we get done? We got the fuel lines done. Front bumper, running boards, alignment, sound deadening, clear coat, heater, AC with wipers, side mirror, drive shafts. Well, we ain't got nothing much to mark off. Huh. 2 things. Oh, come on, we did more than that. I guess we were finishing up wiring. We're finishing up the gasoline tank. Yeah, anyway, we got a little more done. I really was not planning on doing this much today, but my knee got to feeling a little bit better. So I said, well, let's just work. Got quite a bit done, I think. She's running on her own fuel system now. Got the battery mounted. The electrical system is done. Got the power steering leak fixed. It actually has power steering now. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I was really hoping to have this thing done this week, but like I told y'all, I'm a one-man show. It's just, there's a whole lot to do. I ain't got but so much time. Hopefully next week, the old girl will be done with her. She'll be back on the road. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.